It always takes a while.
So
Chris, are you?
maybe we're gonna get a little small. Frank said he was running late today, but got four. So
Yes.
So
So we start to Greensboro and Danville's here.
Wade. How are you, sir?
Yeah.
All right, we're close enough to 4 o'clock. We're right there. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the CVTPO meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. Kelly said we have a quorum. We need 5. We got it. So looking for a motion to approve the agenda. All right. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I'd like to stop and pause here and welcome our new PDC staff member, Richard White he's our senior planner.
Hey, just regional planner.
A regional planner.
Yeah, regional
Told me
planner.
senior, I thought. Did I say
Sorry,
senior?
sorry,
Okay, sorry.
So I look forward to working with all of you eventually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Thank you. And you just began this month, right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, excellent. All right. Yeah. Okay. And we have we have 2 virtual, 3 virtual people. So we also need to have a motion to allow for members to participate virtually. Do we have a motion for that?
Motion.
A second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So item number 3 is the CVTPO 2025 safety performance target. Every year the MPO submits safety performance targets to VDOT. We're required to submit FHWA. We will need an action for approval. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
What? Oh, I skipped over the minutes. Oh, thanks. I just jumped right over them. Sorry. Yes. All right. So item number 2, approval of the minutes. Does everyone have a chance to review the November 21st, 2024 minutes? Any questions for staff on that? Okay. Looking for a motion to approve. Okay, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Kelly, for keeping me straight. Okay, item number 3, CVTPO 2025 safety performance target. Every year the MPO submits safety performance targets to VDOT, who are required to submit to the FHWA. The CVTPO has in the past adopted the VDOT's state targets. The TTC recommended continued use of these state targets. We do have a motion to approve in your packet. Staff, do you have anything else you'd like to add at this point?
Yeah, the only thing I'll just add again is that sort of all that VDOT requires the MPOs to submit within the 5 safety targets that you have in your summary there, your staff report, the number of fatalities, the rate of fatalities per million vehicles traveled that we provide to the total state. So our targets are added to the state targets. Again, we have, as Jeremy pointed out, as a PDC, adopted the states. And the correction in the letter, I wasn't feeling well when I did this, saw lots of mistakes. Sorry about that. I have CC'd on the original in your packet there going to Johnny Work. That will be Rick Youngblood that'll be copied along with Jeremy on the letter that you have in attachment 3 there that we would submit to VDOT for those targets in our MPO area.
Questions?
The targets for our region are right here on this.
Correct. Well, the portion right there is saying that for fatalities, serious injuries, and non-motorized fatalities, we are using the state's rates, and the states for FY25 did not change their target numbers, but what I provided you there in the copies is essentially our state numbers that we didn't increase the percentage. And then on the second page, So specifically for our region, our target value is 16 fatalities, a fatality rate of 1.23, serious injuries. So yes, it just was saying that basically our target numbers are those same target numbers that were submitted in FY 24 because we took the state's approach that we weren't adjusting those rates. So, and again, the VDOT does such a great job of what I provided you is essentially the copy of the workbook that we go through to come up with our yearly rates.
Any more questions for staff? There's a motion in your packet. Anyone wants to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Because I'll read it out. The motions
You read it
the
out.
motions to approve safety targets and submit the CVTPO safety performance letter, and then with the correction of CCing Rick Youngblood, not Johnny Rourke to be
Yeah.
done.
Correct.
Okay, a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you very much. All right, for the item number 4, the FY 25 work program update, Kelly Hitchcock, lead us through A through D, please.
Okay, and if you want to, you can bring up the attachment for A. Essentially, that is the intersection safety study that we did for Amherst County and Bedford, where we targeted the intersection that you see there in your work packet. It was Amherst Highway, Spruce Drive. The recommendations for that study are complete. The full study, I did not print that out in your packet, but you can see it there and it's accessed on our website. It has been reviewed by both VDOT Salem District, VDOT Lynchburg District, obviously by the planners in Amherst and Bedford County, and approved the recommendations for these safety improvements of some which are not the type of thing, honestly, like an Amherst, again, an example of Amherst Highway at Spruce Drive and Rockwood, where the recommendations are really stop bars and signs. Those are not the kind of thing that you're going to go out for an HSIP application for. That's really going to be a partnership with our local district and the type of thing that can be implemented. And already reached out to Jerry Harder, and he's had those comments. So this is for informational purposes. We have not, as a TPO, required the TPO to adopt this instrument because it really is what is done for the locality. So this is for informational purposes for you guys, and that is the study document. Well, again, it was funded through our dollars and the MPO dollars for the intersection studies. We have not done that as an adoption process. But it is for informational purposes, and the study is there, and the localities have appreciated the value of the work on their behalf. So I'll go ahead now to the 221 corridor study. That information, again, at this point, it's the study is underway. What I provided for you is for informational purposes. Let you bring that back up. It's 4B. 4B. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's, again, you can see that it's the 221 study, and it's the portions of 221 there. We have VDOT is really coordinated, again, very well with Salem District in this case, because that's all in the Salem District, and with the Bedford County planners in coming up with recommendations. They have started an analysis. And if you can go down, what I provided you guys was really just to give you a sense of right now, the preliminary recommendations have been reviewed with the staff, And now, and the detailed, I mean, when they're looking at the car throughput and these type of things. And so right now it's back in the, you know, in the court of EPR to go, VDOT Salem District staff and Bedford County staff have told them what options they think are feasible, what they didn't like. They're reevaluating this. They're going to have a meeting next month, and we will bring back what are the final, or not final, the preliminary recommendations that we will let you guys take a look at before we have a second public meeting that will take place in March. So this again is just FYI to let you know, again, it's really good. And as Eric Smedley's comment at the TTC meeting was that they're really impressed with what EPR is looking at and the options for what is a very complicated corridor, which doesn't surprise anyone, and 221. So EPR, the consultants will be here at the next TPO meeting to give you a more thorough, a thorough presentation of what they've looked at so far.
And our action even then would just be FYI. It's not anything that we're voting. It's just.
Not at that point. It's to let the TPO know that through 2 iterations of here's what we've heard, here's what the data shows, you know, from throughput, the number, the projected land use, the car volumes, those type of things. And then they had some preliminary recommendations, and then they heard from VDOT and the local staff going, we don't like that option. We don't think that'll work. So which ones were taken out of consideration? Which ones they thought, hey, we can make that work. But now EPR is going and running the preliminary numbers. Then they'll bring that back to you guys at the next TPO meeting. And then there'll be a public meeting. What the public says, ooh, what I like, what I don't like, will this work, will this not work, those type of things. And then take all of that information and then be back to you guys to ask for the approval of that document in the spring of this year. So in that one, unlike the intersection study, would be something that the TPO would want to adopt because again, it's just a bigger corridor type than these. So again, informational there. The Lynchburg multimodal plan, that is where had our meeting today with Timmons Group. That survey is out right now. We hope that you guys will go to our study, even if you don't live in Lynchburg, you travel through Lynchburg. We'd be very interested in you participating in that study, Lynchburg multimodal plan. And so obviously that's in the city of Lynchburg, looking at bike, pedestrian connections and to tie in that for connectivity for multimodal in the city of Lynchburg. So that project will really get the meat of development of that project in this year.
Is that a link you could send to all of us?
Yes.
That would
Yes.
help out.
Yeah, and
There's in the packet already.
it is
Okay.
in your packet, and if you again, when you go to the agenda, the electronic agenda, and you go to the TPO website that I send that link to, and you read the staff report attachment 1, that the links to our website and the links to the survey all work. But I will follow up. I can send that to you as well, just directly, so you don't have to search if
Yeah,
you'd like, so
okay.
that we can do that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes. And then I'm going to move on to the Thriving Communities program. That is another one where I put it's electronically. You can provide that. Again, I didn't print that out. That is the program that we applied for the federal dollars on behalf of the city of Lynchburg and GLTC. The PDC is the applicant and the awardee for the 3 years of technical assistance from USDOT. We submitted our work program. That is the work plan right there. It was submitted to USDOT in November and it was approved. And so it serves as the foundation. If you look at that, the primary elements, We will be looking at a corridor revitalization roadmap essentially for the 12th Street corridor, which will be a transit-oriented development, which will be the first policy instrument and transit-oriented development initiative in our region. And so again, these expert consultants are really going to walk the city of Lynch through the type of policy and evaluation considerations to be able to make not only those improvements on 12th Street, but to serve as a foundation how transit-oriented development consideration and policy that any of our localities could use in supporting transit-oriented development or those type of initiatives. It'll also look at an implementation vision along 12th Street, a funding playbook. So essentially the consultants will come in on how transit-oriented development has been used in other parts of the country, what funding mechanisms have been used. It also opens the city up to partners, other state and federal partners who will actually come to the city. We will have a event where a number of federal agencies will come to the city. And that'll be a project kickoff that'll happen sometime in either late February or March, and we'll keep folks abreast of when that'll happen. And so again, we're very excited to be able to kick this project off again in partnership with Lynchburg City and representation from their economic development department, their planning department, and just a lot of good partners there.
Yeah, and just one thing for this is, this is a way that we can also leverage some additional funding mechanisms through having the plan and coming up with the TMP that don't require, as much local funding, but could go in for some of the TOD development funds that the FTA administers and some of these other agencies to, tap into these without having to do it completely on our own. So that's one key piece. Like Kelly's talking about the funding book that we're really interested in is getting that accessibility to some of these other pieces.
Yes, by being accepted, when we were accepted into the Thriving Communities program through the USDOT, it opens up a potential partnership in an avenue of 15 other federal agencies that all have made themselves available to and are an avenue by which additional project funding can be leveraged, or these agencies, even if it's not like they're saying, oh, we're guaranteeing you money, but each of these additional 15 federal agencies will make themselves available to explain what their programs are. And so it's a great thing for the city of Lynchburg, because from countrywide of how many other area awardees there are, when Charlotte Lester and Alicia and I went to Washington, all 15 federal agencies met with us and are sort of like, here's what we do. Here's what we do. They're partners. So we'll hopefully be able to be a real benefit in this project over 3 years. And again, not only will what the city of Lynchburg will take away from it, but those best practices and interaction with these other agencies and other federal agencies, we'll take those best practices and be able to share those with all of our locality partners.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. So we're item number 5, opportunity for public comment. I don't believe there's anyone here, but the floor is open. Anyone? Public comment? Okay, moving on. Item number 6, we start with state and federal agency partners. Kelly, I'm not sure who's online. Who do we have there? I can't see real well.
Go ahead. We have Evan and we have Carson Ecker.
Okay, Evan or Carson, do you have any updates for us on?
Hey everyone, I'm happy to go first since I think my updates are a bit quicker than Carson's would be. Just a reminder that our transit grant applications close at the end of the month on February 1st. Our 5303 funding opportunity for fiscal year 26 is going to, or it's open now in web grants and will remain open until May 1st. And also Virginia was awarded 8 rail crossing elimination grants. Sadly, none in your area. I'm not sure if there were applications, but that's just like a statewide update. And that's all I got.
Any questions for Evan?
And I will just follow up on that, that as the PDC, Ada Hunsberger and the Central Virginia Commuter Services, she will be submitting an application. That is that commuter assistance program that we have here. So she is writing and will be submitting an application that will be coming up by that February 1st. Yes.
All right, thank you, Evan. And Carson next.
Good evening, everyone. After 9 months, starting in March of last year, Smart Scale is finally over. Brooke Jackson went to the CTB 2 days ago and went forward with the staff funding recommended scenario. Do you mind if I share my screen to share the CTB presentation? So this is the presentation from the CTB that Brooke Jackson presented. It goes over the recommended funding scenario for Smart Scale of this funding cycle, and it goes over the breakout of funded projects. There were 53 funded projects throughout the whole Commonwealth. In Lynchburg, we got a total of $85 million in DGP money. Unfortunately, we didn't get any in HPP, but going into our specific district, we got 4 projects funded through Smart Scale. 2 of them were in the TPO boundary. They were, just going through all the other districts. They were the Timberlake Road Improvement Project going from Greenview Drive to Laxton Road, and the Route 29 Safety Improvement Project going from Callahan Road all the way down to Dennis Riddle Drive. In total, all 4 projects reached an amount of $82 million. There were also there was a roundabout project in Nelson County up north, and then there was also the Franklin Turnpike project down south in Pittsylvania County. Interesting to note that the Franklin Turnpike project ranked 4th in the Commonwealth, so that's a big achievement for that project. It had a Smart Scale score of 18.91. As mentioned before, all of our projects are funded through DGP. We didn't get any high priority projects this round, but overall, with the projects we submitted this round, this is a good outcome. We made $82 million off of this round. So for my first round of Smart Scale, I want to thank everyone for their collaboration over the 10-month period. We couldn't have done it without you all, and thank you for everything. Chris, do you have anything you want to say?
Thank you, Carson. I appreciate the summary. And Carson, thank you very much for your hard work along the path to get to this point. I just wanted to emphasize a little bit about where we go from here. Smart Scale is technically not over. These are draft funding scenarios that are a scenario that's been presented. There'll be public hearings later across the Commonwealth this spring, and the Commonwealth Transportation Board will then vote and pass the next iteration of the 6-year improvement program, likely in May or June of this year. So there's opportunity for public comment. What Carson just reviewed with you is how the objective criteria was scored and how it ranked. And in a nutshell, you rank based upon your score, your benefit score divided by your cost, and then you rank it, and then you go down until you run out of money, fully funding all the projects. And so for us, we had 12 projects totaling about $295 million. And again, we walked out of this with this draft funding scenario with 4 of those fully funded, totaling right around $83 million. So that is good. We'll tell you big picture statewide, and that's in the presentation you can see on the CTB's website from this past Tuesday. But overall statewide, there were $8.2 billion with a B dollar value requests that were made. And out of that, 1 billion was actually available for allocation through this process. So in past years, we've had a bigger pot. I think Smart Scale Round One, I want to say that was probably close to 1.7 billion. So again, each year is a little different. You don't know who your competition is. We don't know until really the last minute how much is available for allocation. So I do think I think we did okay. I'm very, very grateful the General Assembly passed legislation that dedicated funding to each district through the district grant program. So we are able to work with that revenue stream that's coming in, very, very helpful. And certainly we want to attain every opportunity possible to get high priority funding, which is outside of that district grant. We didn't this year, but we keep trying, and we will continue to do that to our best effort. So again, just a quick summary. This is draft. There'll be opportunity for public comment later in the year through a public hearing process, and they won't make final decisions until really the end of the cycle. So I'll talk briefly with Linda Green, our CTB member, and again, she's listening. It's a listening mode for her at this time right now. So that's all I have for Smart Scale. I did one more thing, but any questions for me or Parson?
Looks like you have some.
Yes. Yes.
You go first.
Can't hear you, bud. Call me on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Marty, call me on the phone, and I'll just use my audio if you want to do that.
Well, Ben, do you want to go ahead?
Try again. How's
Oh,
that?
there you go. You got it.
All right. So can you drop a link to that presentation that you just shared on your screen, Carson?
Yes.
Or can somebody email that out to us so we can see that?
Kelly.
And I want to thank you guys for the work you did on that. I can tell you, looking at that specifically, that Campbell County project, Greenview, Laxton, is huge for our city because our people are commuting that corridor every day, and that is a nightmare. So I just thank you guys for what you've done with that. That's a huge thing.
And Kelly, I'll email you that presentation, and you can disperse that throughout the board.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Not a question. Two comments, not dissimilar from Marty. Same kind of thank you, but then also just to I'll say what I said when we changed the formula, is that we're going to, in this area, continue to tilt at the behemoths that are Northern Virginia and also Hampton Roads. So I think to the degree through our local delegations that we, I know that we have our commissioner, Ms. Green, but also I just want to be really cognizant about who and what we're competing for, right? Formulas have changed to where a roundabout in Farmville is going to be a difficult thing to get, right? And so just want to be paying attention to how it's being scaled. And some of this is just the size of Central Virginia. And so I just want us all to kind of be cognizant on our county boards and our city councils, kind of what we're working with and what we need to be modeling out to our local delegations.
And if I can add, just on the transit side, we're also seeing this as well, where we're facing increased competition through the scoring metrics with Northern Virginia and Richmond for us because of their being fare free and just the weight of their cost. It's causing more rural systems and smaller systems like ourselves to score lower in the state and come out with less. So it's not just a problem here with roads and stuff. It's actually kind of percolating across multiple different modes.
Well, I would just say, I mean, just based on the numbers, I'm a numbers guy. If 8 billion was asked for, 1 billion was available statewide, that's 1/8, right? And it sounds like we got about a quarter or a little better than a quarter of the money we requested. So I'm thinking overall, we did pretty well as the Lynchburg region. I actually had a question regarding the Salem district because Bedford County's in the Salem district. Any
Thank you.
monies in Bedford
Thank
County?
you, John. I'm glad I should have said that something about, I apologize. Salem District, pardon me, I have a hard copy of that presentation.
Chris, I have the data.
Yeah, there are no Bedford County projects. There are two proposed in Carroll County and one in Henry County.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do, if I could, I want to come back to something Winter said, because I think that is important to keep in mind. You all will get this presentation momentarily as Carson gets that out. But what we're talking about is Smart Scale is just one funding stream. And to think of it as kind of two, one stream, but kind of two channels. One is the district grant program, the other is the high priority money. The district grant program, out of the 1 billion, it totals about 700 million out of the 1 billion, and the balance coming out of the high priority funding. So in a nutshell, what we saw here is really Lynchburg district is looking at roughly 83 million. Northern Virginia, for just Smart Scale, they were landing close to 97 million, not that different from us. And I think what you'll see in this, the lion's share of the high priority money went to the Richmond district in this round. And we did a little research on this. My staff came back and shared with me that a lot of the projects in the Richmond district that secured high priority money are really interchange improvements along the interstate system for their interstates, 95, 64, 85, 295. And so they strategically lined them up to be really smaller dollar, $20, $30 million projects. And I think that's what really brought that money to Richmond. You'll see that when you go through this. So to me, it was kind of surprising. Just the district grant program is not robust for Northern Virginia in comparison to us as an example. But the takeaway for me is this is just one funding stream. In Northern Virginia, they've decided to tax themselves with a separate authority just for transportation. And so they have a whole different process for prioritization and a whole different funding stream unique to them I'm grateful they do have that, because hopefully that's less impact statewide. So just want to make that brief observation. You'll see all that in the presentation. If you have any questions, just let us know. Sorry this took so long.
Yeah. Who gets that Easy Pass money up there? Because I'm contributing to that on occasion.
You've got to be associated with that tolling facility to get that money, right? Yeah. So I think Transurban has a agreement with us to run that for many decades.
Yeah, it actually, and it gets split out by the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission. So they kind of get it, and then they split it among projects. That's the group that kind of oversees transit, a lot of road improvements that are not directly interstate and stuff in that area.
Yeah,
Virginia.
I tell my wife, make sure you set that no tolls on Google, because they're going to take you the wrong way every time.
I believe there's a bill in General Assembly right now to cap the total amount of tolls that commuters pay. So that's going to have an impact as well if that makes it across the finish line.
Okay, good information. Any other questions or thoughts?
I have some questions, but Chris, we could probably talk offline, but just trying to understand the mechanics. You got the draft, there's public hearing, and then finalization. So when you say draft, is the money there or is it not there?
The money's there.
Got it. Okay, so the public hearing will be just refining it, making sure we understand what it means.
Right.
Then adopting the final plan.
Right. There have been some past times and occasions in previous rounds where maybe the draft funding scenario said do projects 1 through 5, and maybe project 6, wait a second, there's some extenuating circumstances. Maybe we really want to move 6 ahead of 5 and fund that one. That kind of jockeying has happened in the past. And that's why Linda Green, she's listening. She'll be listening through the public hearing process. But then we've had years where we've stuck exactly with what you see is what you get. And that's what's been finalized.
You've added a new element to my thoughts here. Let me make sure I'm understanding. So the things that have been approved, they could get bumped based upon conversation in the community, had been something else brought up?
It is possible.
Okay.
The general approach is the Commonwealth Transportation Board as a whole makes decisions about any changes in high priority program funding, and the district representative for the CTB would have more autonomy with regards to the district grant program. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thanks for letting me ask. I'd probably forgotten it if I'd waited.
Yeah, good discussion. Any other questions or concerns? Okay.
I had just one more.
One more. Yes, one more thing.
Yeah. Thank you all for cooperating with us regarding snow. We really, I think, had much fewer crashes last week. I think part of that, a lot of folks decided to stay off the roads. And kudos to the city of Lynchburg as well for their efforts for snow removal. But I just want to say thank you, because it's really a challenging time for our people, and really greatly appreciate your cooperation. Thank you.
We appreciate you thanking us, but we thank you because you guys are the ones keeping us safe and keeping the roads salted and plowed and open. So thank you, Chris, for all you and your staff do. All right, Kelly Hitchcock has some a meeting, the 2025 meeting calendar to go over with us. Kelly?
Yeah, so we, what you have in your packet there, in the staff report, we have our meetings. We have to have 4 meetings a year, but we typically follow the PDC a calendar, which would make the meetings March 20th, May 15th, July 17th, September 18th, and November 20th. However, what I also put in there is August 21st and October 16th, and they have an asterisk in front of them, meaning we would only hold those if we have to. And the reason that I do want those to be in there potentially is because VDOT's Transportation Alternative Program and revenue sharing applications will be due in October. And so we want to be able, if there are, in August, and then we want to be able to, the TPO, should localities request our resolution of support for those applications, be able to have that meeting. So the August 21st would be, we'll have it if we need to have it, but you'll know in advance. And then the same thing with October 16th meeting. That would correspond with VDOT's 8-SIP application process, which are due at the end of October. Again, we hope and anticipate that there'll be some 8-SIP applications going in, and if that happens, we like to provide support there. So again, we'll have them if we need them, and we kind of hope that we will, but that means people are putting in applications. But
Kelly, do we need a motion, or can we just give you a head nod? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to accept the calendar as proposed. Motion by Mr. Wade, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Okay, matters for members of the board and your staff. I'm going to open it up. Does anyone have any matters to discuss? Anyone virtual have any matters to discuss? Seeing head nods for no. Okay.
I'll give you one.
Okay, we got one.
I'm holding over right now in this meeting. This could be my last one. You guys have taught me a lot. If I don't come back and I get somebody else to do it for me, that would be just wanted to appreciate everything you guys have taught me, and thanks for everything.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for being a part and all your good feedback. All right. Item number 7, the Central Virginia Safety Action Plan. Mrs. Hitchcock.
right, so we again, a lot of activity in that safety action plan. EPR and Kimley Horn. Again, we had good stakeholder meetings with each of the localities. We also had we looked at some priority locations based on safety from VDOT, each of the districts, and also from their planner staff. So Kimley Horn went out and looked at locations in Amherst. We looked in Bedford. We looked out in Appomattox and Campbell. Lynchburg City locations have been identified, but the inspections have not been done at this point for Lynchburg City. But the main thing we will sort of want to talk about is the safety summit. We hope you will all attend this. This is going to be Friday, January 31st. That is going to be held we're so appreciative of Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance is going to let us use their location. And obviously they like to partner with us because of the good work that they do in transportation and Lynchburg LTAP regional transportation. And so again, reaching out to businesses. The Transportation Safety Summit will be 9 to noon, but the doors will open at 8:30 for lights, refreshments, and meet and greet. And this really is a great opportunity. Maps will be up there. The consultants will give a very good presentation about the data that's been presented, what we've heard from the survey. We will also have Timmons Group, the consultant working on Lynchburg City's multimodal plan, who will bring in some of the data from Lynchburg, and then we'll have breakout sessions. So folks from localities, and again, we are inviting and welcome you to send other invitations to us. We are to nonprofits, to your social service departments, to a lot of groups that your planners have suggested to us. So it is a region event. We'll have breakout sessions so that there'll be maps and we'll look at strategies and some of the policies, police officers, state police. So it's really open to anyone and everyone as we really get to the meat event of the safety action plan and the safety summit. Again, you should have, and the link, you can actually in your packet, and if you again go to the agenda, you can take your phone and it takes you directly to the registration. I do think we were very appreciative of Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance. They did put it into their newsletters, but we got it corrected this week because I believe if you registered through LRBA accidentally through their newsletter, it was sending you to a registration through LRBA versus the registration through us. But I believe that they've corrected that with this week's newsletter. But again, no cost to attend that, and we hope you will all be there and share it with your stakeholders.
Okay, yeah, very good. Please pass along to your staff and your community members that are engaged in this. Any questions about that for Ms. Hitchcock? All right, the most exciting part of the meeting. I'm looking for a motion for adjournment.
Got it.
A second? Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for being here. Great rest of your day.
Hey, Chris, that's pretty good. You've been 18. Score.
Yeah. It happen every time you can't.
It's taken me this amount. I'd be interested to hear.
But it came out. Going back to the said that was one of those years. No, I'm going to do free. I have a